Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to daily current affairs session. So today a little bit change in the timings due to the scheduling issue. So we will see the details of today's article. First one, South China Sea. So recently Philippines as well as China's seas has collided. So that's why it is there in news. We will see the background and what is the geographical importance relevant for our exam point of view. And then simultaneous elections. There were two articles today in the Hindu. One is related to the Bihar Chief Minister statement and then the Law Commission which is going to submit the report related to the simultaneous election. So we will see about that as well. And then Google delisting of some apps. Google has deleted some apps from its Play Store because of some non-compliance. We will see the details about it, what has happened and why it restored again, right? And then Methane Sat, a new satellite related to the methane emissions. We will see that as well. And then new naval station, very important in Lakshadweep, that is going to be named as INS Jatayu, Indian Naval Station Jatayu. And then there was an facts given by Space Ministry and Department of Space in the Public Press Information Bureau. We will see the facts related to the FDA in space sector. Finally, we will see the Sangeet Natak Academy Awards which were about to give. So we will see not about the winners because yet to be published, yet to be given, but we will see what are these awards and what categories were there in the exam point of view. Then one factual point are there, and finally we will practice some questions as well. Okay, so these are the articles that we are going to see today. Some students are present and few are not present because of the odd timings. Anyway, it will be recorded and then posted in the YouTube channels. You can watch it whenever you have time, right? First article, we will see the context, why it is there in news. You can see from the diagram itself that the Chinese as well as the Philippine ships, coast guards has strike or collided each other, which has become an issue. Usually certain islands were occupied by China and then certain islands were occupied by Philippines in South China Sea. But China claims all the South China Sea as part of it, and Philippines obviously have some islands which were occupied. So Philippines ship was routing to their own island and Chinese ship has come in the way. It has collided and even shot the water cannons towards the ship. And there were 4 or 5 members were injured from the Philippines crew, right? So this is the context why we have taken this article published in today's newspaper. Now let's understand what actually is South China Sea. Geographically as well as strategically it is very important, and in exam point of view you need to remember all these facts related to the geography of South China Sea. You can observe here, this is a Pacific Ocean, the Western Pacific Ocean. From here, this is China. You can see, right? So this is the China starting from, and then Vietnam. So this is the Southeast Asia. India is located just bordering to the Myanmar. So this is all the South China Sea. This is all the South China Sea, right? So this is will tell you the facts which are important for the geographical point of view. It is first located in the Western Pacific Ocean. If you see the broader Pacific Ocean, so west side we have a China and east side we have a USA, Alaska, Canada, right? The North American continent, and the west side we have Japan, Russia and China, which is east of Asia. So it is located in the West Pacific Ocean surrounding the Southeast Asia. It borders, so you need to remember the countries which are all bordering the South China Sea. So observe here, very important, they will ask you in the exam. One is China and then Vietnam, right? And then we have Cambodia as well. We have Cambodia which is not given here, so try to understand here. This is Cambodia is also part of South China Sea, right? So 1 and then Vietnam 2, 3 Cambodia, 4 Thailand and then Malaysia 5, Brunei yes 6, Indonesia 7 and Philippines 8 and Taiwan 9. So these are all the countries which are bordering to South China Sea, right? Now, what is the important things about South China Sea beyond the countries? There are certain aspects you need to remember. So there are water bodies also connecting the South China Sea. You can see here, Bishit Channel are also called as Taiwan Strait. Taiwan Strait. Strait means any water body dividing two land masses, right? So here we have Bishit Channel as also called as Taiwan Strait, and then we have the Luzon Strait, right? So these are very important to remember. It is connected by Taiwan Strait in the East China Sea and Luzon Strait with the Philippine Sea. This fact are important. Here we have a Philippine Sea, here South China Sea. Between these two, we have the Luzon Strait. Very, very important. A lot of questions has come. Philippine Sea and then South China Sea. Similarly, we have a Bishit Channel, which is dividing between Philippines and Taiwan. This is Philippines, this is Taiwan. And towards west, it is the South China Sea. These are very, very important. And in South China Sea, there are two important archipelagos. Archipelago means those regions which are surrounded completely by water, right? So all the four bases we have. Yes. If you have any doubts, you can post here, right? Yeah. So we have two major archipelagos. Archipelago means any island completely surrounded by the water. So if this is the landmass, completely on four sides there is a water. So here we have two major archipelagos, Parcel Island and then Spratly Island. Very, very important. These two islands are located in which sea, they may ask, right? So Parcel Island and Spratly Island. So this is the geography. So what we are dealing, we have seen the context and we have seen the facts related to the South China Sea, related to the geographical thing, right? So geographically it is very important. We have seen what are the water bodies, two water bodies, Taiwan Strait as well as Luzon Strait, and then surrounding countries we have seen. Finally, we have seen the two important disputed archipelagos located here. So you need to remember these facts. The next one is why South China is being very important. All the countries surrounding it want South China Sea. Why? What is the reason for it? So the main reasons is almost $5 trillion the trade passes through this sea. So whoever controls it, they can collect the taxes also in future, right? So they may get some benefits when some other countries' ships are passing through it. So it is very important for trade, right? For traverse of goods and goods from the South China Sea. So one important is the importance of the trade. Second one is it is rich sources of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are those compounds which will give the petroleum reserves of very valuable minerals can be extracted from the hydrocarbons. So it is said that South China is having a lot of such resources. So that is the second thing. And then oil also, we have 11 billion barrels of oil, natural gas is found in this sea, expected to be have a huge benefit. And then fishing grounds which can enhance the trade between, the fishing also contribute a lot of economy, and India is second largest exporter. We get a lot of foreign exchange reserves. So South China is rich ground for fisheries and then important trade route. So these are all very important aspects. That's why countries around that are fighting, dominating each other. Of course, China is superior to occupy this water body, right? So this is all why this South China is important. Now, what is the dispute? From where it has arisen, right? So South China Sea, China claims that all this territory, all the South China Sea is completely of China. They have shown some mischievous maps like 500, 600 years back. They have created their own maps and have cited that this is all part of China. All the water body should be part of China, right? So they are claiming everything, and this is called as 9-dash line. They are said that there is a 9-dash line historically. That's why these all are part of China only they were claiming. So they may ask you what is 9-dash line, something like that in the exam, right? They are claiming everything, including Parcel Islands, Spratly Islands, Scarborough Shoal. So everything they are claiming. And the countries surrounding it, you can see here, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan, Vietnam, they also claim to their own land masses, so bordering to their coast, they are also claiming it. So there is no proper sources from where China is showing, and these are all claiming the naturally that this is part of our coast. So that's why some part of South China should be part of our countries. That's what they were claiming, right? So this is the issue. China is claiming everything, and some countries surrounding it are also claiming certain territories bordering to this territory. Then what has happened after it? at international level, we have a UN Convention on Law and Seas. So how to regulate, what type of activities can be handled. So at the world level, at the global level, we have an United Nations body, which is accepted by all the countries. So they have filed a case, the countries, Philippines, Vietnam, so all these countries has filed a case under the United Nations, filed a case into the United Nations, and then there is a permanent court of arbitration under United Nations. Under United Nations, there is a, like Supreme Court in India, we have a permanent court of arbitration, PCA. Then it said that already in 2016 itself, this court has said that after verifying all the validity details, 90% of South China Sea, what China has occupied, is illegitimate. The sources are all very mischievous things. There is no natural sources. They were the sources artificially created by China. So 90% of South China Sea, what China is claiming, is not at all part of China. That's what the the Permanent Court of Arbitration has pronounced way back in 2016. But China has outrightly rejected the ruling, that this ruling we are not going to obey because that is mischievous and they did not consider the proper sources. But what actually China doing is wrong, everyone knows that, right? So even though China is part of this system, United Nations Convention on Sea, but they did not accept the what you call the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration, right? And many countries, even UN, USA, India, asked to respect the territorial division of the South China Sea, but China is not following it. Now what we can do? There is still going on the issue. USA is supporting Philippines and some countries in the South China Sea, and China has naturally very good sources there. So that's why it is also putting a lot of naval bases. So there is a clash and we need to see what will happen in the future. Any doubts from this? So what we have discussed here, I'm quickly revising it if some students have missed. We have seen the context that there is a collision between China and Philippine seas. We have seen the borders, the territorial, which are relevant for our exam, water bodies as well as countries. And then we have seen the issue like, what is the importance of South China Sea? We have seen why everyone are willing to capture certain region of South China Sea. Finally, we have seen what is the issue, what China is claiming, and what is the International Court of Arbitration has pronounced and why it is not following, right? That is about the South China Sea. The next article is also very, very important, simultaneous elections. Now, you can see, first we will see the context. So, Nitish Kumar, the Chief Minister of Bihar, has said that we are waiting to implement the simultaneous election. So, we want the simultaneous elections in India for Bihar as well as with the Lok Sabha. Now, Bihar is having separate dates for elections and Lok Sabha has different set of dates, right, which are scheduled in May, right? And also, one more article was published related to this in the Hindu. Law Commission is going to submit a report related to the simultaneous elections. We will see what is simultaneous elections, don't worry, just understand the context, that there were two contexts why this was in news. Now, if you have observed the election systems in India, there are Lok Sabha elections for every 5 years. After 2019, we are having Lok Sabha elections in this next April and May, right? But in the different states, you can take Karnataka, you can take Bihar, you can take Maharashtra, you can take Rajasthan. All these states are not exactly conducting the elections along with the Lok Sabha elections. Some states has that, like Andhra Pradesh, right? So certain states have synchronity, but some other states are conducting elections in different times. And why this has happened? After independence, we got the first election in 1951, okay? So Lok Sabha, all the state assemblies were elected in 1951. And this, for every 5 years, we were used to follow the same. All states as well as the union will have elections for every 5 years. But after 1967, there emerged the different parties. Earlier, before 1967, there is a Congress government everywhere at the center, at different states. So there was no issue. But there were number of regional parties, DMK, TDP, many other parties has come into the picture, and there was lot of dismissals. The government was not conducted or completed 5 years. It was removed for even 1.5 years, 2 years. And the constitution clearly mandates that if there is any dissolution of state legislature, within 6 months you need to conduct the elections. So that's why it did not follow. Some states were dismissed. So whatever the states got completely dismissed or dissolved before 5 years, the election dates has kept changing for every 2 years, 3 years, right? So there were number of state governments elections which were deviated from the 5-year span, because constitution has mandated that if any dissolution has happened, you should conduct the elections within 6 months. So Election Commission of India will conduct the election. So that's why there is a discrepancies. There was a discrepancy non-synchronized with the elections. Now, one nation, one election or simultaneous election says that all the elections of the central government along with the other 28 state governments elections should happen at a single go. Say for example, now May or April or May is coming. So all the state elections along with the Lok Sabha elections should happen in the same time. It should not be deviant, right? Like before 1967, whatever is there, the same situation should be happen. So that is the one nation, one election or the simultaneous election. Simultaneous means all the states simultaneously having the elections, right? Now, why this has again came into the picture? Fine, it was going unsynchronic manner, but why we are debating about it? There are certain benefits of conducting the simultaneous elections. So it was proposed by Election Commission of India in 1983. They have proposed it that we should have a simultaneous election. It has proposed, right? And also Law Commission also in 1999 emphasized that we should have a simultaneous election. So we have Election Commission of India and Law Commission as well, which are suggesting for the simultaneous election. Now, what are the benefits? Why they are suggesting it? Because different elections in different point of time is hindering the governance. See example of our Prime Minister. For whenever there is elections, he has to go and campaign. And rather than focusing on the administration or taking the country forward in terms of economical growth, the Prime Minister, it's a constitution of it. It's not, you should not take it as a party, a political party way. Rather, he is holding the constitutional post which is mandated to promote the welfare of the people. So he is burdened with the not only Prime Minister but other ministries. So to implement the schemes, all these things were halted because of elections. So that's why it is hindering the policy implementation, rather focusing on elections oriented, right? So that is one reason. And then cost reduction. You can see lot of crores has to be spent by Election Commission, governments across to conduct the elections. Every year you can see 4 or 5 states conducting the elections, right? So it is huge of cost every year for the government. So that is second reason. And then deployment of security forces. You can see CRPF, SSB, CASF, many paramilitary forces are moving throughout the country just for overseeing the elections. What is the role of security forces? They need to protect the internal security. Wherever there is Naxalism, wherever there is terrorism, something has to be taken care. But they are focusing on just monitoring the elections. So this is a wasteful resource, right? And then horse trading. That means once the elections are over, for example, this year, within 5 years, there is a horse trading, buying of MLAs and then moving to party. There is a change in governments. So it is like a horse trading, and rather than focusing on governance, they are focusing on capturing the power. So that is against the democratical values, right? And then reduced freebies. Every year elections are there 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 times in the year, and central government, state governments will keep up coming with the subsidies, which are wasteful resources without creating any assets. So all these reasons has pushed Election Commission as well as Law Commission to conduct the simultaneous elections so that all these issues will be resolved. So that is what they are demanding, the Election Commission. Now, what are the challenges? If government is going to implement, Parliament is going to amend the constitution and bring it on, then what are the challenges associated with it? First thing is challenges to federalism. You know, federalism means having the union to just monitor and states have a sufficient power, right? So if there is one election, then the say of union government will increase. The states will lose their political importance, right? Because elections are fixed. Now there is no change of government in the state, so they don't have influence to take some measures from the central government. So that will be affected. And then national issues will be sidelining, right? So danger of national issues, national issues will be paramount. As the elections are at a one go, along with the central government or parliament, so there will be sideline of dominating of national issues and sidelining the local issues. Whenever there is a different elections, then the main focus is at the local level, state, panchayats. But if there is one election, then local issues will be sidelined, and mostly the elections will give importance to the national issues. Right? So this is one challenge. And then what about panchayat elections? We have third tier of government, panchayat municipalities. Are you going to synchronize with it, and then how it is going to benefit? So there is a question on panchayat elections. Massive financial administration at one go. Okay, government is going to cancel all the election. They are going to conduct the simultaneous election throughout the country. Then at a one go, they need lot of EVMs, right? So obviously there will be initial costs, and do we have that monetary things to shift that? Similarly, security forces availability as well. We have a lot of security issues, including Naxalism and all. But if all the security forces are deployed at one go, because election is happening at a single go, then who will take care of the security? Do we have such a huge forces? So all these are challenges to the simultaneous elections, right? So they may ask you in the exam, what are the challenges in implementation, something like that. Now, there is also some constitutional provisions related to the simultaneous election. These are also challenges. Article 83-85 clearly mentioned that if any majority was lost by the government at the center, they need to conduct the elections in the 6 months. So how are you going to fix this? Constitution itself has said that if there is no majority, then new government has to be elected, right? But how you are going to handle if the government is collapsed within 2 months or 2 years? So that challenge is there. So Article 83 as well as 85, and the same provision is also applicable to the state assemblies, Article 172 and 174. So they don't have, they have this restriction. So how they are going to handle this once the government is collapsed? So these provisions are hindering to implement. They need to change the constitution articles so to implement the simultaneous election, right? Now what to do? Identify all the challenges, what is the solutions, concern with the state governments, ask them what is the benefit, get only consensus, then only you can pass the bills, right? Don't go in a hasty manner, so that will result again in a chaos in the country, right? And then investing in infrastructure and technology, like EVMs we need, security forces we need, transportation we need to shift the security forces. Create all this infrastructure before going into implementation, right? Then align one by one the state assemblies. First you align the state assemblies with the Lok Sabha elections. Then you think about having a broader plan. Create awareness among the voters that this is the condition. We are conducting the simultaneous elections. So local issues are also important. National issues are also important. So please aware the voters. And then amend the constitution finally after solving all these things to adjust these articles so that it won't have restriction on the government to implement. Right? So we have seen this article, what is the context, and then what is one nation, one election, synchronizing all the elections at a go, and then like why it is being suggested, reasons we have seen, finally what are the challenges and what is the solutions. Any doubts in this? So that is the case of simultaneous election. Next one is Google delisting of apps. You might have seen in newspapers that some apps in Play Store like Bharat Matrimony, all those things has been removed by the Google from Play Store, right? And they have immediately restored. It was removed on March 1, and yesterday, March 5th, they have reinstated it within 5 days. Now, let's understand why it has delisted and why it came back to adjust this. What has happened? Google has said that they have approximately removed 12 apps from Android Play Store. This was not a new one. There was a tussle between these apps and Google since many years. Now what is the tussle about? That is need to be understood. What is the tussle? Why there was a removal of apps? Because whenever there is a apps kept in Play Store, if they are transacting any money, right? So purely digital service like OTTs, there is no other thing. Some apps have both physical setup, like edutechs you can take. Some education was on offline, some education in online. They are not collecting the money. But whatever the apps, companies which are exclusively based on digital service, like Bharat Matrimony or OTT, Amazon, Disney. So all these things are exclusively of digital service. So such type of digital apps, whenever they are getting subscription, for example, I have bought subscription of 1,000 rupees from Amazon Prime. I need to pay approximately 10 to 13%. I mean, not myself, obviously I will buy 1000. The Amazon has to pay 10 to 30% of commission. So that means what? 100 to 300 rupees out of my 1000 rupees has to pay to Google. The apps has to pay to the Google of 10 to 30%. That's what the Google has mandated, right? So Google has said that you need to pay 10 to 30% of the transaction fees, whatever the subscription you are getting, right? So that is what the Google says, and why they are saying it. They want to manage Google Play as well as Android ecosystem. Without revenue, how can we maintain this? So that's what the Google argument is. But this app says we are not opposing the fee, but this is very high. You take 2%, 3%, okay, maximum 5%. But out of 1000 that we are collecting, you are taking 200, 300 rupees. How can we survive? That's what the question of the apps. They have put it in the Supreme Court. They have filed a case, and Google want more revenue, and these companies don't want to pay more revenue. So that was a tussle. It is still going on, a debate. So it was already there, like Google has collected extra money than created, and whatever the apps which are paying, their advertisement, their feasibility were more than compared to the other apps. So that's why Competition of Commission of India has asked Google to pay 1000 crore approximately as a fine for benefiting certain apps and when compared to the other apps. So this is the case under Supreme Court, still going on. We need to know what will happen, right? So that's why Google has removed some apps which did not pay the commission for the Google, and then as there was a meeting with the government of India, they immediately reinstated yesterday. So that is the issue, right? So any doubts in this? We have seen what happened, I mean what is the context, and then what has happened with the Google, why they have removed. The reasons, the tussle we have seen between the two apps as well as what you call Google, and then what has happened aftermath, right? Next, and very important article, as this is part of science and technology. Any doubts in this? Okay, as there is no comment, I am going ahead. This is very, very important science and technology article. Methane sat was actually launched. Okay, March 4th itself, it was launched by SpaceX through Falcon 9 rocket. SpaceX is a space company headed by Elon Musk, and Falcon 9 is a rocket like GSLV of India. It has launched the methane sat. Okay, before knowing what is methane sat, let's understand what is methane. Methane gas. You all know the formula is CH4, right? So the methane is a strong greenhouse gas. That means what? Whenever it is releasing into the atmosphere, it is being stayed for some time, and then it is increasing the temperature. So the temperature usually should be 25 degrees and it is rising to 30 degrees. Climate change is resulting through the methane gas. So methane gas is a second largest contributor. This fact is also important from environment point of view. They will ask. The first top contributor for greenhouse gas is CO2. Second is methane. These are the two gases which are contributing for warming of the Earth planet, right? So methane is responsible for 30% of global heating after industrial revolution. You all know in 18th and 19th century there was an industrial revolution where the industries has piled up. I mean they have increased. Since then methane has contributed 30% of greenhouse gases, right? So such a huge intensity. Similarly, it said that this methane in last 20 years is 80 times more potent than CO2. Now it is crossing the intensity compared to the CO2. So its pollution level are increasing, right? So it contributes also for formation of ground level ozone. You all know ozone is present in stratosphere of our Earth atmosphere. This is Earth, and there is an atmosphere surrounding it, troposphere, stratosphere, right? And then mesosphere, ionosphere. We have different layers. Ozone in stratosphere is good because it is protecting us from ultraviolet rays, right? So O3 is protecting us from ultraviolet rays by capturing or dissipating the sunlight. But ozone at the lower level, not in the stratosphere but troposphere, near to our atmosphere, that is harmful. And this ozone is being perpetuated by the methane. So methane is a harmful gas in the atmosphere. That's what the intention to discuss these things, and facts are very important. Now what is methane sat? So methane satellite is a mission being launched by SpaceX, and for what? It is going to track the methane emission at the global level. You can see here, it is going to monitor on the earth that how much methane is being generated, and on every, the goal is to reduce the methane, okay? So it is going to monitor methane emissions, and the main aim is to reduce the methane in the atmosphere, okay? It will orbit the earth every day 15 times. That means what? So it is going to revolve in a much faster way. 15 times per day it is going to rotate and observe the methane emissions. And what it will do? How much methane is emitted by who? They will come to know which industry is releasing, which place is releasing, whether country, whether companies. So it is like a shy. They will create a atmosphere where the industries will feel shy or guilt of releasing the methane. So nobody will like that their company is listed as the most methane gas emitter, right? So the data will be collected and put it in front of the public. So everyone will know, and the trust on the industries or the companies will also reduce. So indirectly they are feeling or making the companies, industries guilt, and to in turn reduce the methane gases into the atmosphere. So in the next coming few years, they are going to reduce the methane emission. That's what the objective of the methane sat, right? It has a very huge cameras where they can capture certain companies which are called as super emitters. Those industries which are releasing huge amount of methane, they are going to capture that as well. So very precisely, this satellite is going to capture the methane emissions across the globe, right? So that is about the article. Any doubts? We have seen the new methane satellite which is going to be launched by SpaceX, and we have seen the effect of methane, and we have seen the methane satellite, why it is being launched, how much intensity they are measuring. So what is the objective? All these things we have seen. Next one, INS Jatayu from defense. So again this becomes important. Recently, today itself, Naval Detachment Minicoy, so a sub-component of Indian Navy, will be commissioning INS Jatayu, an upgraded naval base. So naval base means you all know, you can see here. So it will be there, all the military or Navy missions will be there. Any ships going through this, any mischievous things will be reported at the base, and immediately it will rush to dissolve the enemy, right? So there is a new naval base which is going to come up in Minicoy Islands in the Lakshadweep. So they will ask you where is INS Jatayu, something like that, right? So INS Jatayu is going to be located in Minicoy Islands. You can see here, this is the Minicoy Island. So this image is not very clear, but yes, this is Minicoy, and this is the southernmost island of the Lakshadweep. So this is the Lakshadweep, and Minicoy Islands are the southernmost. It is near to Maldives. So as China is going to increase because of the change in government, Maldives has shifted towards the Chinese, right? So as Maldives are affiliated towards China after new elections, India is going to launch a new naval base, because the naval base which is located in Maldives, they have asked us to vacate, right? So this naval base we are going to take out and we are going to create here in our own, which is near to Maldives only, right? So that is the objective or the background. It will upgrade to a naval base with additional infrastructure like air bases, boats, whatever requirement, they are going to launch it in the Minicoy Islands of Lakshadweep, right? And this is not the first base in Lakshadweep, this is the second one after Dviparakshak, which is in Kavaratti. So Kavaratti is the capital of Lakshadweep. Already there is a INS, Indian Naval Base in Kavaratti, which is named as Dviparakshak, right? INS Dviparakshak, and this is going to be the second. So this will strengthen our monitoring towards the Indian Ocean, which is a good thing. But anyway, there are certain challenges like environmental things before constructing. So those things we need to get clearances from the respective authorities, right? So this is about the INS Jatayu, which is going to come up in the Lakshadweep Islands. Any doubts in this? Okay. This is a factual one, so not too much difficult. Next one, FDI sector in the space. So you all know FDI means what? Foreign domestic investment. Foreign companies coming into India, bringing money and then investing, generating employment, generating GDP growth, right? So that is called as foreign domestic investment. Now, in certain what you call sectors like space, all these things, not fully FDI is allowed because those are critical for our India national security. Certain things like you can take textiles and all, it's 100% allowed. So any companies can come invest and then earn profit. There is no intellectual thing. But in terms of space, defense and all, it is restricted. So PIB has given the present condition of FDI in the space. They will ask you in the exam. There are two types of FDIs. One is automatic route, where the companies who are going to invest in India no need to take permission from anyone. Anyone in the sense government. There is certain other FDI where they need to ask permission from the government before investing in India. Two types. Okay, one is free, one is government hand. Then we have certain limitations. Now space sector has opened up. All the space sector is open. Anyone can invest here in space. Satellite manufacturing, satellite data products, ground segment, launch vehicles, creation of space sports, manufacturing of components, all these are open up, 100% is open. But certain these three things, satellite manufacturing, satellite data products, ground segment, 74% is automatic. And if beyond, someone is investing beyond 74%, they need to take permission from government, right? So for example, I am a US company. I am coming to India and investing. Completely 100% I cannot fund without permission. If it is 74% my investment and 26 is of some Indian, then it's fine. You can go with the automatic. But if I am crossing 74%, then government route has to become. Launch vehicles and associated systems are very important, very secure, right? So that's why only 49% is automatic and rest of beyond 49 is should be from government route. And then these are manufacturing components which are not important, 100% automatic. This has to be remembered for our exam point of view. And the last article for today is Sangeet Natak Academy Awards. So President of India will confer the Sangeet Natak Awards of 2022 and 23, the winners, in the next coming 1 week for 94 eminent personalities. Okay, so including the drama, tribal, puppetry, in all the case, government is going to, or president is going to award this. But that is not very important. For us, the actual, what is Sangeet Natak Academy Awards, when it was launched, those things are important. Let's see the facts related to it. It was started way back in 1952. The year is very important. And for what these awards are given? These awards are given for performing arts, like drama, music, right? So all these things, puppetry, tribal, so these are all performance. You need to do performance to get the award. So these are performing arts which are excelled in individual work, right? So these are the highest national awards recognition to the practicing artists. So this is the highest award given for any practicing artists. Now, Sangeet Natak Academy Awards are given for all these criteria: dance, folk, music, puppetry, right? Overall contribution. So all these were given. So whenever you see this, try to remember, because some arts are not given. Here only performing arts are given. So this you need to remember. And there are 2 awards under the Sangeet Natak Academy Awards. There are 2 awards. This also important. First one is Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship. This is the first award. This is the highest honor of performing arts. Within the Sangeet Natak Academy Awards, this is the first one, which were given irrespective of nation. Anyone can get this. Caste, creed, there is no discrimination. Who have contributed highest in terms of their lifespan, they will be given with the Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship. And the other one is the Sangeet Natak Academy Awards too. These are given individual whenever there is a good performance recognized across the world. So those are given the criteria. So this is the first highest Academy Fellowship, and then Academy Awards for individual performance. And for this award, 3 lakh rupees are given. 3 lakh rupees along with Tamarapatra and Angavastra. So there is a cloth as well as some memento like thing will be given. For this, 1 lakh is given. So this money is also important. This is valuable. This is the next one, right? So those, we need to know about the Sangeet Natak Academy as well, which gives these awards. These were given for this music, dance and drama related thing. Initially it was created with the resolution under Ministry of Education. Remember, initially it was created with the resolution from Ministry of Education, right, in 1952, with the chairman as P.V. Rajamannar. P.V. Rajamannar was the chairman initially. But now presently it is autonomous body which is having individual powers. Autonomous means no need to follow the government or ministry direction. It has their own rules and regulations. So now it is under Ministry of Culture, right? Earlier it was part of Ministry Education. Now we have one fact. I hope you are all clear with the, there was no comment, so I hope you are clear with this. So today we have a last fact and very important fact. India's first green hydrogen plant in stainless steel was launched by Ministry of Steel and Civil Aviation, Jyotir Aditya Scindia, in Hisar, Haryana. Okay, so where does India's first hydrogen plant for stainless steel has come? It is in Hisar, Haryana. So this is about today's session. Now let's move to the practice questions, right? I hope someone will active. I know today there was not very much active people because of the time, but I hope at least few people will answer the questions. First question, consider the following statement. So they have asked about the South China Sea. South China Sea is bordered by China, Taiwan, Philippines and Malaysia. This is the first statement. Second statement, South China Sea is of tremendous strategic importance to the world shipping and is believed to hold huge oil and gas reserves. So this is the question. This is the question. Oh, anyone? First one, South China Sea is bordered with China, Taiwan, the Philippines and Malaysia. Yes, Philippines is there, Malaysia is there, Taiwan is there and China is there. So all the four are there. And yes, South China Sea has the tremendous oil resources and important for shipping. We have discussed it. So answer is C, both 1 and 2. Yes, fun channel, very good. So answer is C. You are correct. Next one, with reference to one nation, one election, consider the following statements. So this is the question. One nation, one election is nothing but simultaneous election. It refers to idea of holding simultaneous polls for state assemblies and Lok Sabha instead of separate and continuous elections. So that is the first statement. Second one, it will help increasing accountability of the government. So simultaneous elections will increase the accountability of the government. That is the second statement. Simultaneous elections would require amending the Article 83 of the Indian Constitution. So these are the three statements given. Now let's see what is the answer. First one, it refers to idea of holding, yes, same elections, same time for states and center. Second one, it increases the accountability of the government. No, wrong. See, as there are continuous elections every year, 3-4 times, 4-5 times, so governments are scared. They want to get the vote. But once the elections is done for 1 year and then next 5 years, there won't be any elections. So in this time span, there won't be any effect because the already elections are over. So just before election, they will make the hustle less, right? So second statement is wrong. You can eliminate and first should be there. Simultaneous elections are required amending the Article 83. Yes, we have said. So very good. I thought people will answer it as a D. Very good, fun channel. You are able to understand the meaning of the second statement. That's what I'm expecting from the students, right? So that is the second question. INS Jatayu, a new naval base for Indian Navy, is being launched in. Very direct question. Very direct question. Right? So not Andaman Nicobar, at least these two has to be eliminated, right? Now you may confuse with two things, Kavaratti Islands and the Minicoy Islands. Kavaratti Island, we have seen the structure, so it was there in the Kavaratti, that is the first base, and now INS Jatayu is the second base in the Minicoy. Yes, you are correct again. Next, with reference to Sangeet Natak Academy Awards, consider the following statements. It is an organization dedicated to the promotion of literature in the languages of India. So that is the first statement. It collaborates with the international organization to save the culture heritage of India. It collaborates with the international organization to save the culture of India. It is managed by Ministry of Education currently. So what is the answer for this? First statement, let's see. It is not related to the languages, rather performing arts. Performing arts, right? So first statement is wrong and you eliminated all these things. So we got the answer anyway. So let's see the second statement. It collaborates with the international organization to save the Indian culture. Yes, it does that. If you don't know, even first statement is there. Second, no, education is not the current, it is under the culture. So answer is C. Okay. So first statement is wrong. It is not for languages but for performing arts. So one is eliminated. Second is correct. Third is not Ministry of Education but it is under Ministry of Culture. Yes, Ajit Kumar, you are correct. Answer is C. Okay. Not A or not B. Last question. Which of the following international space organizations was recently launched methane sat to reduce the emissions of methane in the atmosphere? Right? So which space agencies has recently launched the methane sat? So you all know it is a private one, not NASA or ISRO. It is not the government. Blue Origin is of Amazon. This is also not. So answer is D, very direct, SpaceX. Yes, both of you are correct, Ajit as well as Fun Channel. So answer is D. Okay. So I just want to inform one thing. That for the next 2 days there may not be sessions, but don't worry, by Sunday we will post it in a recorded manner. So tomorrow's current affairs as well as day after tomorrow current affairs, we will post it in a recorded format, and from Monday it will be as usual live in the evening 5 to 6. Okay. So thanks a lot for the support and have a great day. Thank you.